Okay, that should be working. Yep, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with something today. I'm going to bring up. Oh, Diane. How do you clear this out? What do you do? New chat. There you go. Screenshot. I'm just creating a screenshot of this. Don't need this to be. Should have done. Should have done what it needed to do. Go here. Uh, Copy as PNG. There we go. As the dark mode. Do that. Baby, good morning. How you doing? Or just good afternoon for you, I suppose. How's things? Yeah. So should build. This won't fail. Move to the development. What? Oh, put a post to state. Good post. I'm debating how I'm going to do the endpoint for an action. I want to. Yeah. That's Tim. Hello. How you doing? My code is going. Continue to make progress. How are you today? This one. Get this running. Ah. Mediator. No, not that I know of. That's Jimmy Bogart's trying to get more licensing around that. Oh, what? No. That one. $150 a month for using this. When you can write one yourself in a morning. Huh, interesting. Um, well, I don't use Mediator. I don't use that. I use Mediator, um, actual Mediator, which is Martin Ottmer's version, and that uses code gen instead of reflection. Um, so I prefer it. So I switched away from Mediator 2 years ago. So I've much preferred this for a long time. The interfaces are almost identical. The behavior is just as good, and I have every single feature I have in the other one. And I've uh the long story of that is when about 10 years ago or more, when I started building a new system at work, I wasn't aware of the mediator pattern because I'm not a big patterns. I don't chase patterns all the time. So I wasn't aware of the mediator pattern. And I went and wrote a mediator, and our software was built around a mediator. And to this day, that software is still in place. Um, and the only reason the team's trying to switch it out for the mediator library so they don't have to maintain it. But yeah, uh, need need to do something awful. So I'm gonna move that off screen. Um, I didn't realize I'd used a blue log like that. That's interesting. Um, deliverables. And then I'm gonna go over here. If I do this, Figma, send to Figma make. Um, does that attach that automatically? Yeah, it does. Okay. I need a color scheme generating uh, mode attached. Uh, uh, to attach a few more there. I'm dragging it over because it's a lot of light mode on the screen at once. So I don't want to offend people's eyeballs. Perfect. Let's see if we can do that. Um, so what I'm doing right this second is I'm trying to work on this design, and I'm going to see if well, I'm uh I'm impressed with it so far. So most of what you see here is through Figma Make, right? Most of the design has come through Figma Make. What I'm about to do is I'm about to get the light and dark mode style sets and then try and see what Claude design comes up with. Because I'm right now I'm paying the $100 a month for Claude. I am um, also paying for Figma, and if I can drop one license because Claude does it, then I will do. Figma Make's been pretty good overall. Um, like I said, it's all this is through Figma Make. Um, all the designs, all the things, and it's pretty close to what's actually generated. So I take these and because this Make still produces a site, but then I take these and then just have Claude interpret the design. So I say, hey, Claude, look at Figma and look at this design in Figma and generate the code. So yeah, done. There we go. So now we take that and we put that over here. I don't know how accurate that is. pretty accurate. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Then I copy that as PNG, take that over here. Oh, and I need a paint. I mean, front end work is not my forte, right? It's it's certainly not my forte. Design light mode Kaizu.png. So I'm pasting these into Claude design, and we'll see what we can come up with. I can drag in a Figma file. That's the interesting part here. Wonder if I can. What does that involve? Open file in Figma. Go to File, Save Local Copy. Figma downloads a Fig file. Save local copy. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Kaizu branding. That might actually help me a lot more because it'll give me the logos and stuff to play with. And then we go to here and drag that in there. Attach the file. I guess we see how that goes. We are learning, right? This makes a lot more sense to me now. Now I've got this in this layout. I'm just looking forward to getting to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to introduce the move to. Enjoy the meeting. See you in a bit. Move to having this say, hey, switch, move to in development, or move to with development rather. And then we're going to get that flow working. But rather than start with Figma and have it design that screen out, I was like, okay, well, let's um, yeah. Now I can be more accurate here, right? I can um, give this um, a I could give Claude Design my code, but I refuse to. That's a me choice. I'm controlling what it sees and when it sees it. So Kaizu um, deliverable planning. So yeah, let's see. I need to. You can do a lot in Claude Design as well, which is impressive. I need to. Let's do this. I'll show it in real time. Um, introducing the concept of now I know I could add a button. Right? It's not difficult to add a button to invoke an API call, but I just want to see what it's going to do. Being able to move the deliverable out of um, ready for you to either with development or back to unplanned blank these actions. This screen. Um, um, let's see what it does with the bare minimum instructions there, nothing really important. Now, what will be interesting is if I can attach that Kaizu branding file to the Kaizu project here. So this is a project, not a, yeah, you can't do much with a project. If I could attach it to that, that'd be interesting. So we'll give that a little while because that will take a few minutes, I would imagine. So what I'm thinking is it'll put an action button up here. That'll be, actions. It'll either do with development, move to with development, or move to um, ready planning, or it'll do move to ellipses with a drop down, and there'll be with development or back to planning. That's my best guess based upon seeing these designs in the past. So the goal here is to make this when I click this. So I'm a product manager. Hey team, this is the work that you're going to do over the next uh, what we want to do by whatever date. These are the acceptance criteria. This is the why you're doing it. Like all this stuff. Um, and that's interesting. That there. That's because I'm using Markdown. um, but the big goal is there that the team says no, we're missing a lot of stuff. We need more. We need more mock-ups. We need more work overall. Let's push back on this and yeah. So the product manager goes, oh, move back to with review. If the team says, yeah, we can task some of this stuff out now, but we are good to take it. It can move to with development, and then it will go to this column here. So yeah, how should the status actions appear? I just found this. Morning, Doctor. Average person, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Um, so status stepper, workflow bar showing the full pipeline. Explore a few options. Which action is the primary, most emphasized one? Move to development is primary. Back to planning is secondary. Yes. Well, you want to move it forward. By far one of my favorite streams. Thank you very much. Should changing status require confirmation step? Um, Decide for me. Confirm the. Sorry, I'm doing this wrong. It's it's got that. It's figured some things out. It's now asking me to confirm some questions, right? So confirm the status, names, wording in planning, ready for review with development. There we go. Want me to explore variations side by side? Yes. Show me 2 to 3 directions on a canvas. Build it interactive? Yes. Anything else? No. So we hit continue and it'll go off and churn away. So Scrum not working through. um, okay. So what I was doing in the background is I was doing the move to a development thing here. But I'm thinking that I don't want to do it as an API call like that. It feels rage inducing. The, I think you know by now that my entire approach to all this, to getting work done, is the more we try and prescribe to things, the more we try and sit ourselves neatly in an a um, a box of um, here's how we do things, the harder it gets because we can't adapt and we can't flex and we can't change what we do to accommodate the differences in how we do it. And I think it's just everything works in pieces. Got an interview in a few hours. Do you have any advices? Um, what level are you interviewing at? Intermediate. Okay. So obviously, most jobs these days, AI is a big thing. Um, if you've got any relevant experience with working with AI tools, etc., you know what you use them for, etc., then definitely be prepared to talk about that. Um, um, it's difficult. Recently, I've interviewed for associate roles, so I'm thinking more of a lower level, but um, it depends on the organization really, because some organizations will give you elite code tests. I don't believe in elite code tests. I don't think they really tell me how good a developer you are. Um, be prepared to ask questions. Look at the company beforehand for certain. To Dota's point about talking points, um, understand what the company does. Have definitely have questions available for them um, on what does the future look like, what does development look like, right? Get an idea of, because don't forget when you're interviewing someone. Good morning, Frank. By the way, when you're interviewing them and seeing if you fit with them as much as they're interviewing you. And I know that the job market right now is a little bit troublesome in that it's a job, but you can still show that level of interest in what they do, which will set you out. I'm a big communication person, so I feel that you should be able to communicate well, relay your ideas, your intentions, and be able to interact and whatnot. So asking questions and whatnot is always something I'd recommend. Yeah, you could ask them such as like, what does the development process look like? They have 1.9 stars on Glassdoor. Uh, yeah, I've worked at companies like that. Um, 1.9 stars from the engineering team stuff, or from all employees. Yeah, yeah. So gotcha. Yeah. Um, yeah. It's hard. If you need the job, you need the job. Um, but remember, you're interviewing them as well. But doing something to stand out, doing something um, to make them remember you over another candidate is always a good idea. So asking questions and again being prepared to talk about AI, you, but at least make sure you understand the basics of how an application works because you don't want to. Yeah, for me, I'm looking for learning, decent pay, protesting attitude would be a table table stake. Uh, I'll tell you now, every organization is going to say they test, whether they do or not. They're going to say they test because it's not something you want to admit publicly if you don't test. They're gonna misinterpret it. So, yeah. Um, yeah. Um, I'm not anti AI, but I am pro ownership and developer focus. So AI is not a big thing for me, but it is a big thing for everyone else. Yeah, I suspect they know there's a right answer to how you test. Yes. Yeah. Let's see if that's finished. It's working. Still working on things, by the way. Um, Figma, by the way, one of the times I got into a point where Figma wouldn't give me a design that worked, and I eventually I said, "Hey, should I just go and ask Claude?" At the very next, it went through 11 tries, no joke. It kept going back and it could not get this file. I said, "Hey, should I just go and ask Claude?" And it's like, "Okay, here's your design." Uh, is this project you're working on right now open source and can we actually contribute? No, this project is not open source because it is too big to be an open source project. There's just too much going on that I couldn't, um, I couldn't manage people touching it. However, there are a few pieces around the outside that are open source. Um, there is so there's libraries that I build to support this, and I open source them because I do believe in sharing somewhat. Um, so if you go to, does it let you see these? Yeah. So if you go to my GitHub, um, Kafka extensions is the Kafka library that I build everything around. So all my interactions with Kafka in here are handled through that library. Um, Mediator Outbox, Mediator Sagas, they are all those three libraries are ones that I open sourced and they are available and they give a Mediator Outbox provides a mediator level outbox so it can process things in the SQL Server Postgres implementations of them. Sagas is something that I'm not using right this second drastically, but the idea is that with notification events in the mediator part, it can still deal with it as a saga, um, rather than having the service bus side saga. I don't know how useful that is, but it was a useful exercise in doing it. So those are the three libraries that are included in Kaizu. But yeah. Um, and TDD, I don't follow TDD mainly because I am um, solo deving. I'm trying to build this. I'm trying to make progress on this, and I'm not really focused on the rigidity of my process. However, there are a lot of unit tests in here. I do add unit tests, and if I'm doing something that is a little bit more difficult, I do tend to follow TDD. So I'm in the pragmatic. I'll use it when I need to camp there. But I do. There are a lot of tests in here. Um, yeah, and if you are if you are interested in learning more about Kaizu, how I do things, whatever, there is a Discord link. You are more than welcome to join the Discord. If you want to have a chat about it, I am more than happy to join chats at times, voice chats or just a regular, just back and forth chat. Um, and I will share code snippets, reasoning, etc. I don't know if you have seen it, but if you remember this one, the diagram is also something I will share as well. So this is how Kaizu comes together, right? This is the entire platform as a whole, with all the pieces. So I'm happy to talk about it, but yeah, I don't open source it because contributions to this would not be um, um, not welcome, but at the same time, I'm not I have a vision for how I want it to go, and there's a lot to do. So yeah, but I'm always open to talk about it. Okay, so here you go. Here's what Claude Design did for us. Wow, nailed it. Oh, almost nailed it. Nailed it. Almost nailed it. It had the logo available to it and still screwed it up. Um, so what's it done here? So in this one, it's made it a drop down here, which is which is a pattern I have got somewhere else in the application. That isn't necessarily incorrect to do it that way. This one shows the timeline and then does that. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. No. the status pill itself. So this one back to review, markers move to development, right? So that cycles it around. I'd say that's not. That's it. I'm going to be a farmer. It did a damn good job of that, didn't it? And this is all markup, by the way. It has actually recreated um, all the code for this. This isn't just a UI, a picture. Well, obviously it's not a picture. I can do stuff. Back to planning, ready for review. Yeah, Claude Design is nailing that one. Pipeline Rail makes the whole lifecycle legible. You see where the deliverable sits and what's next. Steps are clickable, plus an explicit forward back button pair. Um, most discoverable of the three at the cost of vertical space. Strong for teams who care about the full planning. Um, uh, why? Why? Zero extra chrome in the header. Best when status changes are occasional when you want the layout to stay clean. The status pill itself becomes control. So that's for this one and this one. This one has comments as well, but I can't read them because they got cut off. Huh. To me, that one feels the cleanest, and that's actually consistent with something I've done before. I'm trying to think about where I've done that. I think it's on the initiative stuff. Yeah, it's on the initiative stuff. When this is uh, exploring, you can do that and move to committed or cancelled. So there is a precedent in the application for that being a thing. So that would be the drop down. But is that very obvious? Or should it be obvious because it is something that is going to be done? Claude is taking over each corner of the galaxy with lost guys. No, we're good. We're good. It's not perfect. What's going to happen though is in a few years' time, every application is going to look almost identical. Um, because you can tell the designs, right? You can tell the way things look. If I look at um, right this site, it looks the same. It has a feel. You still have to have the eye for design. It 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 feels like it's AI generated. Yeah. So everything will look very similar. Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I do think that there will be some market for like decent handwritten stuff still. Um, well, after the tail. um, yeah, but yeah, not sure. Huh. Move this to, we have a precedent of doing this. Yeah. Uh, I think direction B looks the best. Um, yeah. Gone with the wind. But I mean, that's a pretty quick. I mean, considering, I mean, I've put those things through Figma before, right? I think for my story split series, I'm going to build authentication. Eh? What do you think you need to do? You can, when doing side projects right now, I see them as an opportunity to learn. So you don't need to stand by the code necessarily, but you can learn how to tweak it. You can learn how to kind of build those prompts out and do things that don't matter because if you lose the project, you lose the project, right? But I think it's a perfect opportunity to do um, to use the tools and learn it in a non-consequential environment. So sit there and play a game and hey, um, can you build this, please? Like the game stuff, the game library stuff I just showed you. That was I was sat there playing Pragmata the other day, and in between levels, I'd just say, "Hey, can you go and add this feature, please, and organize this menu, please?" And then go back to playing Pragmata, right? um, for for Kaizu, no, I am hand coding this thing, right? This is all me. I do not want to um, use AI for that piece, but for side projects, for learning, for doing stuff like that, where you're kind of getting an idea. I use Claude a lot for um, I use Claude a lot for like trunk based flow. Last night we were talking about it, right? I use that to kind of talk about that to kind of get an idea of how I might, I go back and forth with it. Um, for Kaizu, I use it for I keep track of all the ideas I have in here and I talk through it with it, right? And hey, you know, I'm thinking about this. This is what I really want to do. Oh, well, you're contradicting yourself there because you've not said that before. You've said this before, and now you're saying you want to do it this way. Are you sure? And it gives me that time and allows me to stay consistent. So I use it a lot for conversation at this point. Like right now, hey, I'm not sure really how I want to do this endpoint. Do I want to push to this? Do I want to put with development, which is an action? Is that a really good thing? Right? Do I want to do it that way? How do I want to do this thing? Um, so, and because it's got context of the project, it understands why I'm doing it that way. So that's where I find using Claude or using AI tools in general the most useful. Return to review, send to planning, undo. Yeah, I did a that did a crazy good approximation. Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine to use to learn from. The problem is we're using it. We in general as people are using it to solve every problem for us and thinking it's perfect, and that's what's going to cost us, I think, um, in the long term. So I say go for it. Use AI. Sit there, put Dota on or something, or put a game on, or put TV on, and then do a bit of prompting. Yeah. Like I honestly, at some point, I really should say, hey, can we build a skill for adding a new endpoint and adding this and adding the 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 command and the handler and the domain events, because it is a lot of rinse and repeat. There's nothing new to what I'm doing with every step here. It's the behavior that I want to add. I just like hand coding it because I feel like I'm in more control. And if I don't expand that, if I don't, if I expand that to like let it do a lot of things at once, I feel detached and I lose interest in what I'm doing. Um, yeah. First article was on the basics. Whenever I had to deliver code that passes code reviews through AI. Well, if AI is uh, doing the review as well, then you don't have to worry about it. At some point you want to test, and let me know. By the way, I'll be happy to help. Thank you. I do plan to put this live soon. That is on the list of things to do. So. Um, sorry, I'm just checking on something. Are the DB costs still crazy, or the single DB fix that? Well, to put this live, to put this into an environment, there's no single DB. There's a single DB server, but there's many databases. It doesn't have enough judgment to implement the right patterns automatically if you don't explicitly ask for it. Yes, and that's the thing, right? Um, a lot of people are not accounting. Oh, well, maybe they are, but I don't see it. But a lot of people are not accounting for the fact that software development is not just about getting code down. And people's like, well, it's just code. There's design as well, and when you don't do the design, then it becomes much harder to maintain later. Um, and You do still have to have a level of um, knowledge as to what it's doing, why it's doing things, and be able to control that. Yeah. Claude Code doesn't know about Claude Design, as far as I can tell. She's a problem. Um, I told it refactor this code all at once to be a single loop. It couldn't do it, but then I did. First, make this code section look like these other two. Now put it into a single loop, and it was fine with that. Yeah, you got to welcome back, maybe. um, but the problem is if you don't understand what code is doing because you're just asking it to solve a problem, you don't understand how to refine it. You don't understand what you're looking at. You're just solving the problem, and you're just like, okay, it's solved my problem. Move on, move on. And I think that's a fear for me, is because we can move so fast, we can deliver features in minutes rather than days. Then why bother? And I have heard that attitude, by the way. I have heard the it doesn't matter if the code's crap as long as it does what we say it should do. And the whole, we are testing it. I mean, yeah, that's essentially what we become, right? We become validators of that it's done what we say it should do. I think it's fine until it goes wrong, and when it goes wrong, it really goes wrong. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Communicates a lot of previous times. Yeah, there's a lot you can do that. Yeah, and I think because we will naturally sink time into doing it because we think it's saving us time because it's doing stuff for us, but it's not actually saving us time if we're constantly going back and trying to refine it and trying to tweak it. And we have to be careful of the fact that a lot of the people that are doing this right now aren't experienced developers, and they don't really care about the quality or whatever it's doing, so they're not going to even catch those things. So to them, it's going fast. I think it is true productivity thing. It doesn't simply save time; it also produces a bunch of stuff. So you end up doing more in similar time. Could it be more time, less time, or the same? Yeah. So Claude design cannot be accessed by Claude code. So uh, you can actually mark it and say, hey, I don't like this. I don't like this. Wow. Huh. It's badge the line. So it does. Left aligned, right aligned. Let's see if it understands what I screwed up there. Oh, it says, "There, it is left aligned." Okay, Project Kaizu. Quick question on that one. The critical is currently left aligned, sitting next to the status pill. You can read your comment two ways. Which did you mean keep it left, but make it a proper badge, or push it to the far right? Let's see. Um, I'm not sure. Oh, that was better. Almost, almost gave me temptation last night and bought the Lego Batman set, but at the last second I took it out of the basket. It's fun, but I get it. Uh, Not back to planning, is it? Was my brain was like, oh, why can't I touch that? Planning. $90 is not cheap, even if it's great. No, it's not. I get it. So that's ready for review. Uh, with development ready for review. We can move it back to planning. Luca, hello. How you doing? How are you doing today? Yeah, so we can do that. Go here, deliverables. Okay, so let's have a look and see what it does. Done. The critical bar is now pushed to the right. Okay, that's fine. So in this version, right, the second, that's it is a badge there. Okay, so it did mistake that part, but that's fine. But I don't want to make them. Yeah, interesting. Yes. Okay. Cool. I'm hungry. Guess it's that time. Yeah. Well, enjoy your breakfast. You streaming today? You want to follow Frank? Yeah. I'd highly recommend going. No. Oh, did you stream yesterday? Did I miss a stream yesterday because I was busy? When do you? I thought no, you stream Wednesdays and Fridays, right? That's your schedule. Did I miss a stream? Um, yeah. If you haven't followed Frank, I highly recommend it. Great streamer. Does works on 2D6 dungeon game. Um, he's got a rigged game in there that never lets you land. And it's a good time to go and hang out. So highly recommend going and checking out Frank. So again, like I said, what I do is I use Claude to kind of chat with. So what it's recommending here is what I do is I was supposed to, but felt like so I didn't. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then we have string two. Um, um, I'm about to get unsolicited advice from someone on infrastructure on LinkedIn. I can't wait. Awesome. That's always fun. So what the Claude has recommended is I changed this to be transitions, right? And then I put a post on this and I have transitions and I pass in two. So it looks like um, um, you post to deliverables, ID, transitions. The body looks like to with development. I don't hate that. But what it does mean is I have to put a use case in here because I now I don't want to make that decision at the endpoint level. I want to make that at the handler level. So deliverables, um, transition, state transition. Actually, we don't need the word use case there. Transition to, and the use case, and that we have the parameters, public record parameters, grid identifier. Actually, we can do to. Let's test this. Do we need to move to? If we track that as if we do it that way, if we do so right now I've got the move to with development, right? But if I do public void transition, uh, actually, public bool transition to um, deliverable state grid. So let's use identifier. We do this. That's what. Previous equals state. State equals state. Okay, so I could have done it that way. Plural states updated, transition to. But now if I put logic in there, or can you transition to? So the this version of state doesn't have a transition to guard itself. In the phase ones, I do have a if I look at phase, these do have transition guards. But right now I don't have any reason to guard this. You can move it to whatever state you need to move it in. Just the UI will dictate where you can move it. So I'm not going to panic about that this second. But doing it this way means I can do that transition to, and now here I can do I think I can get away with doing deliverable state sorry, state there. And I can do command dot state there. And then over here, deliverables transition to makes sense. The language continues to make sense. This is a string, but now we do async. Oh wait, sender dot send. Sender dot send. New transition to. This is going to be confusing for it. Dang it. It's confusing because I've got a class called transition to, and then I've got a command handler for transition to, so it doesn't know the difference. So I can't call them both transition. Let's just rename this to transition to dot command, and this takes um, rec dot identifier, rec dot to, and uh, user dot get user identifier. Okay, it's there. It's in the domain value objects. That's okay for the um, we might not need bad requests at this point. Let's not overcomplicate this with stuff we don't need. Let's cut that back. Right now we don't have an error state. Um, Hello, Taurus. Hello. Good day. Appreciate the co-working. So yeah, I don't know of any failure condition at this point. I just know that this is what I want to I want to tackle. This would then update the state of the planning application, the planning, the deliverable to whatever state we pass in. It's going to cast it that way. If that can't cast, that will throw an invalid deliverable status exception. So we have to pass in a string, but at least it guards it against being invalid, right? So I can't shift it to an invalid state because the application will prevent it. What sound? My breathe in thinking noise, like a fake moan. Yeah, maybe that. Like, yeah. Um, it's a perfectly normal one. Thank you. So with that done, now from the application side, when the deliverable transitions to that, we're going to publish a domain event, which will be deliverable status updated, and then subscribers here, deliverable status updated, update related initiative. We'll check that, and we now need to publish an integration. So why should someone care about version changes in .NET? Is it actually important? Version changes in framework? In what do you mean version changes? Um, well, you have. I mean, they release a new .NET version every year, right? And they release an LTS version um, once every other year. So every other year. So .NET 10, which is the current version, I believe is the LTS, or was .NET 9. Yeah. Um, Long-term support, right? Well, 8 was LTS, but 10 is the current LTS, I believe. Yeah, current. Yeah, the even numbers of the LTS releases. So these are the ones that will get longer support windows. Um, like you can see, the support window for .NET 9 ended at the same time as the .NET 8 support window, right? So, right, it ends 1 year after its release, whereas the LTS lasts for 2 years, so it has a longer window. So you would care about keeping an eye on those versions. The version updates will, bring different language facilities. Um, Library versions as well. .NET's become much more predictable these days, so you could be on .NET 8 for quite a while, even after it's gone out of support, and you're probably okay. Security patches and stuff are your biggest things. Um, that's why you would care. You'd want to make sure you're keeping an eye on any vulnerabilities, any challenges that come around, because no one's perfect. I often get questioned about which version of .NET I use and that what's the difference with other versions of the most recent ones. It's supposed to be a good question. You should have an understanding of what is available to you, I suppose. I don't often use the newest features available to me, like with once record types came around, and I can't tell you which version they came in right now off the top of my head. I have to look that up every time, but understanding, oh, these features are available to me. So I'm looking forward to union types, right? They're coming in .NET 11 now. They were promised in like .NET 8, and union types are finally coming. Union types provide the ability to do what I just did with the that results object there, right? Where it can be this or this or this or this, right? Those are really useful because you can return, hey, I'm going to return a success or an error. Um, that's a feature that's going to help readability of code. Um, but yeah, um, but if you're being asked that question and it's about your personal time, stay using .NET 10. Use the latest version. Keep up to date with it. Um, but the language features and stuff they're getting less and less drastic. Um, I still remember when Link was introduced back in .NET 3.5. Actually, look, Link was introduced earlier. But yeah, you can use expressions and stuff in .NET too, but Link and stuff came around in .NET 3.5, I believe. I have. Actually, there's a series of videos I did with Grumpy Game Dev on trying to learn about F sharp. It's not for me. My brain does not think in that way. Functional programming to that level is not something. Yes, I built applications on Compat Framework. I deployed production applications on .NET Compat Framework. I deployed a mobile application for car parking, um, that would take pictures and upload and communicate with a .NET a backend basic server that I wrote a SOAP protocol for, and I did a pest control application in .NET Compat Framework. I see your brain is not very functional for sure. Yeah, yeah, it does. That's the beauty of .NET, right? The 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 CLI, the CLR, um, doesn't matter what language you write, it still produces the same thing. You can use the tools to. Um, I haven't used Visual Fox Pro directly. My boss at my previous place used Fox Pro to develop some stuff with, and I kind of tinkered with it a little bit, but I didn't use it for anything. It's a little a little bit too obscure for me to want to tinker with. Generally, if I'm playing with the language or something, it's just to try and understand how I might learn from it or how I could use it to do what I want to do. I tried playing with Go a couple of weeks ago for a couple of hours, and I was like, I don't see it. um, maybe I'm not cool enough. Uh, public integration. So when we change the status now, we need to publish the same. Yeah, I got my Streamlabs bot working, so that was in there. Yeah, so that's been there for a year. So my Streamlabs bot never works. So it's clearly sorted their act out. So push integration, and this is fine. All we're changing here is deliverable. status updated notification, because we're in the deliverable status updated folder. That's why that can't be that. And then we're going to using equals planning domain dot events dot deliverable status updated. And then we're going to do that and implement the missing members. I started a few hobby projects within .NET, but never finished one. I actually got rejected once for not having .NET portfolio. We're locked on JS, DS, Python, Shell ecosystem. Yeah, I think that depending on what the job is, the language doesn't necessarily matter as much. Like having experience of it, for okay, most software you can learn the idea, you can learn the principles of, and you can pick them up and just learn how to do these things. You're not digging in to how to, like, again, most of this, I'm not using a lot of the language. I'm using the same patterns over and over and over again because it solves my problem, right? I'm not having to develop anything drastic. I can go off and understand how to use the tool better, and that's how I do it, right? I don't keep all of the .NET framework, sorry, .NET in my head. I got to avoid saying framework because framework was old version of .NET, but I don't keep it all in my head. I have learned how to go and look for what I need to solve, and that's again why I'm enjoying using AI in that respect, because I can ask a question with context and understand the answer I'm getting back in the way I need to understand it to solve the problem I need to solve. So yeah, I don't um, like I get it if the job is we are a Java shop and we do this and we need to solve all these really hard problems and we need you to be a Java expert, but most development isn't that way. As much as people might think it is. You just need someone who understands how to build software for the most part. Specific cases. One of my homies business specifically with .NET consultants. So yeah, got to be a .NET expert. Yeah, because that's the skill set they're selling, right? But yeah, it's not. It is, however, not impossible given a experience. So I know I'm copying and pasting here, but that's deliberate because all this does is pull out the deliverable and send that deliverable, right? And this publishes a base class. It just reacts to this event. Um, the challenge here would be if I do an updated, do I have the concept of suppressing another event? And I think I do. But I don't know. Hold on. Deliverable updated. Suppressed by. Yes, there we go. So this one is deliverable. Ooh, that's probably not the right design. So what would happen here is if I do a deliverable updated, I would never get the deliverable status updated event to react to. But if I change this on its own, I will I will get it, right? So that's what this is meant to do. This is meant to say, hey, don't bother publishing these events, um, because right now if I do this when I do a deliverable updated, I will also publish the integration for status updated. That's me. That's created by me to try and describe that exact situation because events can collide. But that's not exactly great because what that is that's highlighting that I'm using them for two cases. I know that I'm publishing off them, therefore I want to suppress them so I don't, like, again, if I publish a deliverable created and then I update it and publish deliverable updated, I don't want to publish created and then updated. But I still want this. The problem is I still want this event to trigger. I just don't want it to trigger the integration. So what I might end up doing there is I might end up pushing that suppressed by to this level and say, oh, have you also received this? Like somewhere in here, say, okay, well, the event shouldn't trigger me if this event has also been fired. Um, but that's a little harder to achieve. So right now, that will achieve what I want it to do. In that, I won't publish. It's not harmful. It's just wasteful because what that would do is if I go to the updated, like if I go to here and I edit this and I change that to planning and I change that person's name, that will trigger an updated, but it will also trigger a status updated as well. And I want to suppress that. I thought custom annotations in .NET are only used for metadata and couldn't execute code. Couldn't ex Annotations can't execute code, but you can use them. So all I do here is oh, that's because I don't. That should be that. That should be that. There you go. Clean that up a bit. Um, Global updated. So this annotation here is just the data thing, right? And now all I do is I have in my interceptor, I have a domain event publishing interceptor um, because I have an outbox, right? So this just says, okay, if you've got these other events, remove them. So there's the code. The most interesting thing from MS Build was the hardware they talked about. So I guess MS is a hardware company now. And Phil, did I say hello to you? I said hello to you, right? I hope I did. I apologize if I didn't. Um, the I mean, Microsoft's been a hardware company for decades. They've done hardware for decades. Like go back to the keyboards and whatnot. But um, yeah, doing the Spark build stuff. I haven't watched MS Build. If I'm honest, I haven't watched any of it because the only thing I was interested in was the Union types presentation, which they didn't show. It was in San Francisco and it's recorded, and I'll catch it later. But for the most part, MS Build should be called MS Prompt, and I've made that joke a few times, and I apologize, but it should be called MS Prompt because that's all it was, AI. Um, so yeah. So anyway, attributes. That's how I use attributes. Um, yeah, I should specify the type. That is right. AI fatigue. Yes, yeah. So now what that will do is this will publish the deliverable, and then the deliverable state would be picked up. So now if I restart this, let's go and say. So the challenge I have here now is I need to go here. So I want this design. How do I get this design now? Is the challenge for me because I'm not using this as um, slopper. Yeah. Um, I think it's going to be an interesting cycle and see where we land in terms of um, uh, um, where we land on how we use AI, if we even it out or whether it literally just take over what we do, and then you have to be using it all the time to be even considered a developer. I think it will be an interesting couple of years in this field. Um, so all I'm doing now is I have a Claude prompt to my side. We need to implement state change deliverable when we bring it over just when we back to I keep this is challenging me. Back to planning. Why can't you? Why can't you see references? You should see that folder. Hmm. So we've got a consistent design in there. We've got a consistent way of doing that. Um, so yeah. No, this here it goes. So I'm not gonna drag that up there. So I have a screen, a small screen down to my left. I keep my terminals on there so I can use the rest of the screens more effectively. I don't have to keep switching back and forth. And it's also a touch screen, so um, I can use it in place of a Stream Deck. So, which I much prefer, by the way. I have to plug the Stream Deck in once every 30 days because you have to have a Stream Deck to use the touchscreen, the desktop version. But yeah, show off. I know. I like gadgets. I like toys. Toys are good. Mm, 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 mm. Ah, there's no developer streaming. Uh, Building SaaS apps until oh, that's the partner of DevDad. Considering my approach to using AI, I don't want to go to a stream that is basically just pure using AI to develop with. Dylan's up to hacking on Pi and side projects. Dylan. Hmm. Come on, come on, little robot. It's fine. See, this phase of I'm sat waiting for something to happen that that I get bored of, and I can't. My workflow, my way of working is I need to keep that context, and I know that that's not what people are using AI with. Um, drop. Hi JD. Hi JT. How you doing? Uh, yeah, just as much success rate though. It's fine. Yeah, you didn't land. Uh, Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, Frank keeps telling me it's not rigged, but we all know the truth. But yeah, um, I get that you can say, "Oh, well, you go do this, you go do this, you go do this," but unless you're doing it that way, like if I'm just sat here coordinating bots to do, ow, sorry, knee, um, unless you're sat here just coordinating the bots to go off and do things, which I'm not doing because I'm taking control of parts of it, then there's a lot of boredom, and that's not enough of an argument for me to be able to say, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it that way." Uh, Stony Eagles refusing to stream again today. Um, yeah, tell you what, I've been watching a lot of recently. I've been watching MythBusters. I really love MythBusters. I forgot how much I enjoy that show, and I've just been just blitzing that. I'm 6 seasons in, and I just so much fun. Um, so that's been my distraction lately. I think there's like 20 seasons of MythBusters overall. It might not be 20 seasons. It's one of those shows where they broke it up weirdly. Um, but it went for at least 10 or 11 years. So yeah, there's at least 10 or 11 seasons. But like I'm on episode 31 of season five or something. Oh no. Yeah, there was like 31 episodes in season five. Um, but I just love it. I think it's just a great show. Great crew. They did cool stuff, and you can always look forward to the dumb stuff. Um, yeah. So that's been my enjoyment of late. So Claude has not confirmed or denied that it can see that PNG, by the way. And it hasn't actually asked me what the endpoint is that I'll be going to. So this is interesting. It should ask me some questions at some point soon. Although it does have access to the code, so it could actually figure that out. What I've probably done here is I've probably created a conflict as well in its design, in that I probably do have something that will deal with the state separately. I probably have, no, it's just update. So, hmm, that transition is going to be interesting. But yeah, okay. So I was hoping to get this finished, because this would be really good to see. Um, we can pretend you did if you want. Eh, yeah, I'd rather you think of me as a success than an absolute failure. It would be. It would make me feel better. Um, Anna, hello. Welcome in. How you doing? It'll be hard, but I'll do my best. Well, fun thing, the first there is to irritate Stony. Everyone gets a first. So, um, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm just trying to. I've been working on getting. So we're working on implementation right this second, trying to get the uh, um, deliverables across to. So this isn't a drag and drop. That's interesting design. Um, the idea of this is that as a team, you come in here and you say, "Oh, we've got these deliverables to review. Let's go in here. Let's task them out." And the product manager can come in here and say, "Okay, it's with development," and that would move that to over here, so the team knows what they're doing. There is only one last, so a good one, average. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get that in right this second. Um, now create a state transition popover component. So we're going to do it as a drop down here, so the product manager will be able to select this, and we're going to have to put in a permission eventually. Um, so DriveDuck.go, and I'm really surprised how I don't have to scroll down at least half page to find the link I want. Huh. DuckDuckGo is not bad. Yeah. The only reason I'm not using it for this is because it becomes a pain. There's certain things that because DuckDuckGo, the browser, blocks a lot of things, and it's painful. So that's why I don't use it everything here. Okay, so we have back to planning or with development. I'm not sure I like the color, but we'll go with it. Here's the question: does it work? So let's find out. Meanwhile, I've found the perfect way to spend time during my 15-minute testing sweet run. Just play Satisfactory as my GitHub starts burning down. Satisfactory down. That's a time sink game. Um, there's another game that my friend bought me. I'm just going to look it up. Because my problem with Satisfactory is there's not really much of a. I don't engage with a game that doesn't have much of a story. Like I'd like that if it had more to it. Um, and what is it? Come on, the game didn't I buy? Oh, Battlestar Galactica. I was on the fence about that one. Um, activity. Can you not look at your own activity on the mobile app? That's annoying. I'm waiting for this anyway. Uh, Beardball guy uses Python on his network to block things. Yes, I that is something that I've considered. Um, Star Rupture is the game I'm talking about, by the way, and I kind of liked it. It's very similar Satisfactory style design, but there's like a story to go with it, and yeah, um, I'd highly recommend checking that out if you need another time sink similar to Satisfactory, because there's a reason for, and I think it's like got the uh, tower defense style, like you got to defend against people. Is that Jay looking at that icon? Make weird stuff. Yes, I saw the icon in the restream chat. Hello, how you doing? With first of about Star Wars, never played it though. Will wish list it. Recommend. Oh yeah, definitely time thing. Was always waiting for that one test to verify I found it fixed the bug in my C++ code. I hate C++. Eh, each to their own. Okay, so with development, Oh, it didn't do the right thing, but it had the right idea. Hold on, that kind of did work, didn't it? But it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Because that was a put. Oh, which do I do? A go away. Put deliverables. Okay, so it did do it because it did. It used this to do to transition to the state. Hmm. I haven't used C++ in a few years. I've never really developed much for C++. I did do some stuff with Unreal Engine a few years ago with a group of friends, and I tried to learn as much as I could. I got into doing some generic stuff, and I got really frustrated with how not generic, what's it called, templates, whatever they're called in C++. I got really frustrated with. I've got to put pieces in the header file because it doesn't know how to do it in the CPP file, and it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I got a bit upset. I bought the Kindle version of that Koenig and Ritchie Sea Lion book, and I was like, I can't, don't understand. I can't understand what I'm reading. Yeah, yeah. Templates are kind of like a functional language in C++. You can do some wacky stuff with it. It's wonderful. Well, I'm a big fan of generics in C, so templates make sense, right? To some extent. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. For those joining, for those new to the stream, if you haven't been here before, um, I only stream a couple of times a week, but I've been streaming my development of Kaizu, which is my product management and planning application for the last couple of years. The concept is of building out the idea as an initiative, driving it through to planning, being able to go out and identify what it is you want to build and what it is you expect from that build, transitioning it to um, through product management, being able to review it, etc., and then going through to implementation so the dev team can take over. Yay, it worked! Awesome. Um, Not the endpoint I wanted, but it did work. Um, it's just too big of an update, but it did work. Yeah, sweet. So now this is with development. So the idea is the development team would review these. The product manager would sit down with them and go through anything they had to ask. The development team could start tasking it. Um, and they know what they've got to look at, right? Because it's right here in front of them. Here's the things that you're going to look at next. So go start looking, and we can we can communicate status. We can communicate. Um, we can be very visible about where things lie. Once it's with development, the product manager knows that's with development, so they can put review dates back on the deliverable to say, "Hey, I want to review it in March. I want to review it in whatever," and we'll tackle shifting these forward at some point as well. Um, From there, the development team can go and task that out, and then when they're happy and start working on it, so they can add the task. When they start working on it, that will automatically transition to it in progress. So the team can see, oh, we've got these deliverables in progress, and the product manager can know from here that they'd be in progress as well. So they can see it with the perspective that they need to look at it with. And that's the goal, to try and increase the transparency of where work is sitting and show it to the right people in the right focus at the time. Once we get to building out tasks, etc., the idea is that you can assign tasks to a release. So you don't have to have a full deliverable in a release, but here's the things that will make up this release. And ultimately this will group by deliverable, so you'll see, oh, this feature is actually going to be completed as part of this release, etc. But then the concept is that a person would be assigned as the release coordinator. They'd be responsible for saying, oh, these tasks need to live in this release. They can add them to the release, and now those are there, and we can see the PRs. So we can see the branches, and that was merged. This one has multiple branches. It's yellow because there's an open branch. There's a branch that's not been deleted that has a closed PR. So either that branch needs to be deleted or a PR needs to be made and done. So you can see, the release manager will be able to see at a glance, oh, these things need to be checked on. And that's Kaizu in a nutshell. Um, right now I'm working on this process flow, trying to tighten this up, and at the same time I'm trying to figure out, could I deploy this to some public hardware that will not cost me an absolute fortune? So finding a server host that I can deploy um, all the different services that I need on it here. So yeah, making C++ compile quick is a special skill. Pre-compiled headers can help, but basically if one follows the pattern C++ lures you into, get horrible times. Just the merge of a simple text-based tool called M4. Yes, I'm still using Kafka. Kafka is pretty much the backbone of the entire system. Um, right now, I've switched away from using Service Bus entirely, so Kafka I'm using for full eventing. Um, so I have a lot of stuff. The GitHub stuff that I recently did, I built out a whole load of functionality for dealing with different shaped events in single topics and stuff. So that was challenging. But yeah, that's been C++. And then I'm going to go reworking an old repo. I somehow fell into modernizing, but my C sharp brain is just scared of C++. Yeah. So yeah. So anyone joining, if you are interested, there is a Discord linked in the cards below on Twitch and on YouTube. You are more than welcome to come and join the Discord and hang out and chat from time to time. We do actually hang out in voice chat a few times a week. No schedule, just after work or something. If I'm sat around, I'll often jump in the voice chat, and I'm happy to talk about the code. If you have your own projects you want to share, if you want to um, ask questions about development, you have opinions on development, there's plenty of opinions in the Discord. Um, People are always willing to engage with that stuff, it seems. So yeah. Um, yeah. So love Kafka so much. I really do appreciate what Kafka can be. I think it's very powerful. Yeah. The self-hosting part is bad. What I've done is for local, I've used Red Panda. Red Panda is a Kafka broker compatible thing. And it's for development, it's much cleaner than using the Kafka tools. So Red Panda is what I'm using for actual development here, but it's full broker compatible. So I actually do have multiple brokers running in in my Docker. So I have three brokers running. Um, well, apparently two brokers running because one's shut down, whatever that means. But yeah, Tony, about time, just in time. You starting to stream up today at all? Like within the next 5 seconds? um, yeah. So, um, yeah, I'm running over time because I need to get to work. But yeah. So this works. This did exactly what it needed to do. Wrong endpoint, but it did it anyway because it did the update. It figured out it needed to do the update. So yeah. So what I'll do is after stream, I'll edit that to say, hey, use this specific endpoint. Um, why is it asking my language? And gotcha. You prototyping being able the DVD menu. Cool. I can watch Iron Man. Nice. Very cool. Oh, it doesn't play now. Play, play. No, it doesn't play now. Oh, there it is. Cool. I need to not do that, but nice. Very cool. Okay, so it is time to end. I must go. I must eat some breakfast and then start work for the day. I'll be back next week. I'm going to get this working a little bit more. I think this is doing what exactly what I want it to do now. Um, Again, I should be able to shift that back to ready for review. I shouldn't be able to move it to in progress though. That's not. Yeah, we'll have to tighten that up. Um, Most transformative C++ book was written by Andre Alessandros, who it's outdated today because C++ has explicit support for the craziness he introduced. Huh. Modern design generic programming patterns. Always spaghetti code. There's always spaghetti code. Right. Cool. Okay. Ready for review. Oh, failure. 409. What the heck? Oh, because I probably guard against it at some point in there. He's basically totally abused the templates in C++ to totally new height. Oh, nice. I think that's how we drive forward, right? We push the limits. That's what we do. So yeah. Well, cool. Anyway, um, Discord, more than welcome to join. I think that's it for now. Um, I'm hoping that again, what I'm trying to do is get this to the point where I can get it to be more usable, so you can kind of envision what it will do. I think the review dates and stuff aren't necessarily a big thing right now, but I really do want to get them in as a concept to be more front and center. Because again, the idea is, hey, just let me know about this next week or something, right? That so the review date should change. It's when do you want to check in on it next, basically the review date. So I really should push that forward because it is a driving fact of how I want this software to work. So yeah. But anyway, okay. So we have I think Dylan's the only dev streamer I know of. Unless anyone has any other suggestions, we'll go over and raid Dylan. Um I don't see anyone else doing any actual coding. No. As he's about to add an MCP. Um Rust Game Dev, Tim. I don't see any smaller streamers doing something that I could jump onto. Um, um, Also, if you haven't followed Anna, I highly recommend following Anna. A lot of crazy work in her stream. Um, Lots of cool projects. I do not get to hang out too much for. What? Who am I? Who are you suggesting? Um, Actually, someone streaming. No, you're just tormenting me. Um, okay, so we'll go raid Dylan. I think it would be rude not to raid. Um, yeah. Okay. Cool. So I will be back on Monday with more of this. I will be focusing on getting this to a really usable state. If you have any ideas, thoughts, opinions as what I'm doing, if you want to know more about the technology, you're always more than welcome to ask. You're Opinions are always welcome, good or bad. If you feel that this is a waste of time, that is also a good opinion, as long as you've got to why. I like the discussion. So, yeah. So let's go raid Dylan, and I will be back Monday. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you then. Take care, all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.